If you're listening to this on Nightmare Crypt, don't treat this like a story. Treat it like a warning. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Not because it helps the channel, but because if I disappear, this might be the last place my words still exist. I'm writing this now because I don't think I'll be here next Christmas. And that's not a metaphor. It's not depression or dramatics, or one of those late night thoughts that feel heavier than they really are. Something showed me what's coming. Not in a dream, not in a hallucination. It showed me while I was awake, sober, and trying very hard to convince myself that everything still made sense. I didn't believe in omens. I didn't believe in fate. I definitely didn't believe in ghosts. I'm the kind of person who keeps receipts, who double-checks logs, who laughs at horror movies for being unrealistic. That's why this scares me more than anything, because whatever I saw didn't want to scare me. It wanted me to understand. And the worst part, the part I keep circling back to when I try to sleep, is that it wasn't warning me so I could change anything. It was just letting me know. If you're reading this close to Christmas, stop. If you're alone, don't keep going. And if you notice the time jump forward or backward while you're reading, if the room goes quiet in that heavy, padded way, then it's already too late for you too. I'll start where it still felt normal. Last December was ordinary, painfully ordinary. I was 34, recently divorced, living in a rented duplex outside of Milwaukee. One of those gray neighborhoods where every house looks slightly disappointed to exist. Christmas had always been complicated for me, but that year it felt hollow. My parents were gone, my sister had moved west, I was working IT support from home, answering tickets while Christmas music bled through thin walls from my neighbors. The days smelled like dust and stale coffee. The nights smelled like cold metal and pine from the cheap artificial tree I'd bought because it felt worse not to have one. Nothing was wrong. That's what I kept telling myself. The first strange thing happened on December 10th. I was cleaning my inbox when a calendar notification popped up. December 25th, 11:48 p.m. No title, no notes, just a reminder. I assumed it was an old event I'd forgotten to delete. Maybe something from years ago. I clicked it. The event had been created yesterday. I hadn't scheduled anything. I checked the metadata. It came from my account. Same IP, same device. I shrugged it off. People misclick. Software glitches. I deleted it and went back to work. That night, while brushing my teeth, I noticed something off in the mirror. The bathroom light flickered. Not fully, just enough to dim for half a second. And for that moment, my reflection lagged. Not like a jump cut, like it hesitated. I laughed at myself out loud. Said, "Get some sleep," like that fixes things. But I didn't sleep well. I kept waking up at 3:17 a.m. Not from nightmares, just awake. Heart steady, room silent. That deep silence that feels intentional. On December 13th, a letter appeared in my mailbox. No stamp, no return address. Inside was a single folded page, printer paper, plain black ink. "You still have time to pay attention." That was it. No explanation. I checked my Ring camera. No footage, just a gap, 4 minutes missing between 2:02 and 2:06 a.m. I told myself it was a prank, some bored neighbor, some kid. But that night, while lying in bed, I heard footsteps upstairs. I live alone. There is no upstairs. The footsteps didn't rush. They paced, slow, even, like someone walking through a house they already knew. I lay frozen, counting the seconds between each step, waiting for the sound to make sense, waiting for it to stop. Instead, it moved directly above my bedroom. Then it stopped. No creak, no shift of weight, just absence. I didn't call the police. I didn't grab a weapon. I lay there until dawn, staring at the ceiling fan, waiting for my fear to turn into embarrassment. It didn't. Over the next week, time started slipping. Small things at first. My coffee going cold before I remembered making it. Emails I didn't remember sending, sent in my voice, using phrases I always use. Then came the photos. On December 17th, I found a new folder on my phone, Christmas Archive. Inside were pictures of my house. Not selfies, not accidental shots. Photos taken from corners, doorways, hallways, and every photo was time-stamped December 25th. In one of them, I was sitting on the couch, head in my hands, face gray, older. In another, I was standing in front of the bathroom mirror. The mirror was empty. That night, I tried sleeping with the lights on. It didn't help. I woke to the sound of breathing, not mine, coming from the hallway. Slow, careful. Like it didn't want me to hear it. When I finally worked up the courage to open my bedroom door, the hallway was empty. Except for footprints. Wet, bare, leading toward the front door. They stopped halfway, as if whoever made them had simply vanished. I stopped celebrating Christmas entirely after that. No music, no decorations, no tree lights. The quieter I made my house, the louder everything else became. On December 21st, the calendar notification came back. December 25th, 11:48 p.m. This time, it had a title. You will be present. I deleted it again. It reappeared seconds later. That's when I noticed something new. My phone clock was running slow. Not by minutes, by seconds, but consistently. And every time it corrected itself, the room around me felt wrong. Like something was leaning closer. That night, I heard a knock at my door. 3 slow knocks. I looked through the peephole. The porch was empty, but the snow told a different story. There were footprints leading up to my door, and none leading away. I didn't leave the house on Christmas Eve. I sat on the couch with every light on, the TV playing something loud and meaningless. I kept checking the time. 11:30 p.m. My phone buzzed, a text message, from my own number. You're running out of time. I stood up so fast the room spun. Another message. It's almost polite to look. The lights went out, all of them. The TV didn't turn off. It froze. The screen locked on a single frame of static. Then the front door unlocked. Slowly, deliberately. My body felt heavy, like gravity had doubled. Footsteps entered the house. Wet, bare. I smelled cold air, snow, something older beneath it. The footsteps stopped in front of me. I looked up. It wasn't a ghost in the way people imagine. No chains, no glowing eyes. It looked like me, but wrong. Thinner, grayer, skin pulled tight like it had shrunk. Its eyes were sunken but alert, aware. It didn't speak. It pointed. Behind it, the wall rippled, like heat distortion. And suddenly I wasn't in my living room anymore. I was somewhere else. Christmas night. Police lights outside my house. My body on the floor. Not peaceful. Twisted. Wrong. The clock on the wall read 11:48 p.m. I tried to scream. Nothing came out. The thing that looked like me finally spoke. Not aloud, but inside my head. You wanted to know what comes next. The room snapped back. The front door slammed shut. I was alone. My phone buzzed one last time. See you soon. I didn't sleep after that. I didn't leave the house. I watched the clock crawl toward midnight, knowing exactly what it meant now. At 11:47 p.m., my calendar alert disappeared. At 11:48 p.m., my phone died. And somewhere in the house, I heard footsteps again. This time, they were heading toward the bedroom. If you're hearing this, then Christmas is coming again. I don't know if the future can be changed. I don't know if knowing makes it worse. All I know is that something is waiting at the edge of time. And once it shows you what's coming, it doesn't stop watching. If you see a reminder you didn't set, if you find photos you don't remember taking, if the clock hesitates, don't look ahead. Because once you do, it starts walking toward you. And it already knows the way. The footsteps stopped outside my bedroom door. Not right up against it, just close enough that I could tell whoever, or whatever, was standing there knew exactly where I was lying. I checked the time on the stove clock in the kitchen. I could see it from where I sat on the bed. 11:49 p.m. Christmas had passed. Nothing happened. That scared me more than anything else. I waited for sirens, for pain. For the moment I'd already seen the version of me on the floor, twisted wrong, lights flashing red and blue against the walls. Instead, there was silence. Then the doorknob turned, slowly, carefully, like it didn't want to wake someone sleeping. The door opened an inch. I felt it before I saw it. The air in the room changed, heavier, pressurized, like stepping into an elevator that's already falling. The door opened wider, and there it was again, me. Not the version from the photos, not the corpse I'd seen on the other side of that rippling wall. This one looked newer, healthier. It stood in the doorway, blocking the hall light behind it, and for a moment I couldn't tell which of us was supposed to be afraid. It took a step inside my room. I tried to speak, my jaw locked. My tongue felt glued to the roof of my mouth. It sat down on the edge of my bed. The mattress dipped under its weight. Real weight. That's when I knew I was done pretending this was anything other than real. It leaned forward, elbows on knees, hands dangling between them. My hands. Its breathing matched mine exactly. In, out, in, out. Finally it spoke. I remember this part. It said, the voice was mine, but wrong. Flat, tired, like someone reading a transcript of a life they were sick of revisiting. What part? I managed to whisper. It smiled, just slightly. The part where you think surviving means you won. It didn't touch me. That was intentional. I could feel it, like it was following rules I didn't understand yet. There are only two things you need to know, it said. First, nothing I showed you was a possibility. It already happened. My stomach dropped. That's not how time works, I said, forcing the words out. You can't. You've already seen it. Your brain just hasn't accepted the order yet. I shook my head. I felt tears starting, hot and embarrassing and useless. What's the second thing? It stood up. For the first time, it looked nervous. You don't get to forget. It walked past me out into the hallway. I didn't hear footsteps this time. I heard the front door open, then close. The days after Christmas were worse than the night itself. Nothing chased me. Nothing jumped out. No shadows moved where they shouldn't. Reality didn't break. It settled. Like a sentence already handed down. Like we were all reading lines off cue cards and hoping no one noticed. The calendar reminders stopped. The messages stopped. That should have been a relief. Instead, I felt watched in a different way, like something was checking boxes. On December 29th, I noticed bruises on my arms, finger-shaped, yellowed at the edges. I didn't remember getting them. That night, I dreamed without sleeping. I was standing in my living room, watching myself pace back and forth, phone pressed to my ear. I was crying. I'd never seen myself cry like that. Loud, desperate, ugly. I kept saying the same thing over and over. I know the time. I woke up standing in the middle of my living room. Phone in my hand. The call log showed a 14-minute call to emergency services. No record of what was said. January came and went. Then February. Time didn't feel linear anymore. Some days dragged, others vanished. I started finding things moved, small things. A chair angled slightly differently. A cabinet left open. Once I found my bedroom door locked from the outside. Sometimes my reflection blinked late. Sometimes it didn't blink at all. I began recording myself at night, just in case. The footage always cut out at exactly 11:48 p.m. every single night. On March 3rd, I found a new folder on my computer, Archive Final. Inside was a single video file, dated December 25th. I didn't open it. I already knew what was on it. It happened in April. I was driving home from the grocery store when traffic stopped dead on the highway. No accident, no explanation, just cars idling in the cold spring rain. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Against every instinct I had left, I answered. I heard breathing. Not heavy, not rushed, patient. I'm not ready, I said. I didn't know why, the words just came out. You won't be, my voice replied. That's the point. The call ended. Every car around me started moving at once. except mine. The engine died. And for just a second, less than a second, I wasn't on the highway anymore. I was back in my living room, on the floor, looking up at the clock, 11:48 p.m. Then I was back in my car, screaming, pounding the steering wheel while horns blared behind me. I pulled over and threw up on the side of the road. That was the first moment of pure panic, the kind that empties you out completely. The dread came later, quiet. I started noticing patterns, dates repeating, phrases people used that I'd already heard in dreams. News stories that matched details from the video I refused to watch. I realized something unbearable. The future wasn't approaching. I was circling it, like a drain. Every choice I made bent gently back toward the same center. I tried to leave town. The bus broke down. I tried to stay with a friend. Their house flooded the night before. I tried to sleep at a hotel. The fire alarm went off at 11:48 p.m. False alarm, every time. That was when I understood I wasn't being chased. I was being guided. The moment I realized I wasn't in control came quietly. No drama, just clarity. I was standing in my kitchen staring at the knife block when the thoughts slid into place like it had always been there. You already know which one you'll take. I stepped back like it had burned me. That wasn't a command. It was a memory. I checked my arms again. The bruises were darker, fresher. I finally watched the video. December 25th, 11:47 p.m. The footage showed my living room from the corner near the ceiling. Me pacing, crying, saying the time over and over. Then, off-screen, a sound. Footsteps. Wet. Bare. I turned toward them. I said okay. Not angry. Not scared. Resigned. The video cut out at 11:48 p.m. I don't remember recording it, but I remember everything that comes after. That's the worst part. I don't know when it will finish happening. Or maybe it already has. I'm writing this because memory is slippery, and because once you know what's coming, you start looking for ways to leave pieces of yourself behind. If this reaches you, listen carefully. Don't look ahead. Don't demand certainty. And if something shows you your future, understand this. It's not warning you. It's making sure you recognize yourself when the time comes. Because the ghost of Christmas yet to come isn't here to frighten you. It's here to walk you home.